I think it's safe to say that the superhero genre as a whole has seen many improvements and made giant leaps within the pop culture space, and even within the genre itself in the past decade or and a half. Of course, it's had its pitfalls, which mostly isn't due to the concept of heroes, but more so studio meddling, rush productions, or sometimes unclear visions. While many would attribute this to the elusive superhero fatigue, I think it's much more fundamental than just numbers or public interest. One of the biggest points of contention and concern within the space is how the stories and characters are adapted. Whether a character acts the way they do in the books, or if an arc or run is true to its nature, will always be part of the conversation. But given the nature of live action adaptations, some liberties have to be taken. That's just the nature of an adaptation from medium to medium. But what if you could have the best of both worlds? The seat clenching drama of cinematic live action works, coupled with the breathtaking imaginative worlds that come with probably the most related medium to comics, animation. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that comics are technically just drawn pictures with words, and animation is just drawn pictures with voice work. But the unique benefit of adapting straight to animation is that the worlds in which the characters reside can actually be on par with the source material. This is not to say that live action adaptations are useless, but we have to acknowledge that crafting the sometimes fantastical worlds requires a lot more resources than animation, which it is possible, but is often not pursued. I also think animated series are best just due to the serialization of the work. Being able to spend more than 2 hours with the world at a time is just better for characters and worlds that are meant to continue. I think that's ideal across the board, really, whether that's live action or animated. I love having comic book movies and I don't want them to go away, but also, if another medium better serves the characters we love, then it's worth considering. Animation just seems like the natural progression of comic book adaptations. And truth be told, animation has its hurdles. In order for it to be really good, adequate staff need and should be compensated and taken care of. But it is far too often that we see layoffs or mistreatment of staff on top of a laundry load of other issues that come from the more business side of production. I say all this to say that animation is a valid form of storytelling. And I think it's being underutilized as a whole, but especially in the comic book slash superhero space. As an early to mid 2000s kid growing up, there was no shortage of comic book superhero and superhero adjacent animations that left lasting impact. And that's not discrediting what we have today. You know, shows like Invincible, My Adventures with Superman, the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern show that's coming out, the Starfire show that's coming out, now Absolute Batman, and hopefully Wonder Woman. But we need more because there's much more animation has to offer across the board. All right, thank you all for listening. This was the first time I've done like a video. I don't want to say essay. This was more a video quickie in this format. So feel free to leave a comment, suggestion, or like anything you feel is necessary. We'll say keep it respectful in the comments. Um, yeah, and let me know some comic books you think should get an animated adaptation or get some sort of love in animated form. Uh, yeah, till next time.